DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, we're not done. I'm going to give you a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy. You know what I mean when I say go-getter energy? To go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. You're tired of just sitting around hoping something occurs. You just go make things occur. Then we're going to put all this together into one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show. This daily masterclass. And yes, if you didn't know, now you know. This masterclass comes out every single day. So wherever you are listening to this, go hit the subscribe button. Do yourself a favor. Do your life a favor. Do your loved ones a favor. Subscribe to this show. It is called, if you didn't know the name of it, it is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is I'm going to give you a formula for fulfillment. Yes, if you want to feel fulfilled at what you do, I'm going to give you the formula to get there. And this is not going to be a very complicated formula. I think I got only 3 things you're going to need to have to get to that fulfillment in anything that you do. Yes, it is that simple. And I'll tell you about it in a second. But before we get to that, let me tell you that I have a text line where you can send me a text, or actually you're going to send me a text, and you're going to tell me the best insight that you got from today's masterclass, the best idea you got from today's class. If you have a question or a challenge or anything that I said in today's masterclass, whether you agree or disagree, you can share it with me. I engage with everybody. My number is 305-384-6894. Once you do text me, you'll be part of my text community, and that means you'll receive my daily motivation text messages, which I send out every single day. It's called Daily Motivation. I mean, it makes sense, right? And that number, once again, is 305-384-6894. You can get all of that free of charge and engage with me free of charge just by sending me a text at that number, which is also listed down below in the show notes. So when we talk fulfillment, first of all, let's get a definition of this word fulfillment. It means the achievement of something desired, promised, or predicted. In other words, when I say fulfillment here, I'm talking about how can you get all the things that you want out of whatever you choose to do in your life? Whether it's a business that you start, a job or career that you decide to get involved in, a sport that you want to play, a relationship that you're in, anything that you do, how can you achieve that level of fulfillment from it to where you feel like you can look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of what I did here. I'm proud of where I'm at and who I am in this particular space. And it's giving me everything that I need. It's giving me what I need in at least the aspects that matter most to you in your life. How can you get that fulfillment? Fulfillment does not mean, let me be clear what it does not mean. It does not mean that you're going to get rich overnight. Fulfillment does not mean that everything's going to go perfect all the time. Fulfillment does not mean that it is absent of challenges and tough situations that you're going to have to deal with, whatever that thing is that you're dealing with. But fulfillment does mean you feel as if you're really filled up. You feel like you are filling yourself up. You are full and filled with what you're doing. Fulfillment. I don't think it's a compound word made that way, but it happens to work out that way. So I'm creating that right here today on the Work on Your Game show. You feel full and filled up based on the thing that you are doing. How can you create that in life? There are only 3 things that you need, 3 legs to the stool. When you have all 3 of these, you will feel fulfilled at what you do. So anyone who's listening to this, as I go through these 3 points, ask yourself, if you feel fulfilled at what you do, I guarantee you have all 3 of these things, or you are on your way to getting them, which is why you feel fulfilled and excited about and happy about what you're doing, because you're at least on your way to getting to these. If you do feel fulfilled already, you already have these. And if you are not fulfilled at what you do, you may have 1 or 2 of these, but you definitely do not have all 3, which is maybe why you're looking out the window and maybe looking at the front door of what you're doing. Even though it may be giving you what you need in certain aspects, you don't feel fulfilled because it's not giving you all 3. So everyone who's listening to me, check me on these. If I'm wrong, once I get through these points, you can tell me. I gave you my text number. Point number 1. Topic, once again, is a formula for fulfillment at anything that you are doing in life. Number 1, game. G-A-M-E, game. Like this show is called Work on Your Game. You got to have some game. What do I mean when I say game? It means skills. It means ability. It means how to. It means can do. You can actually execute and do things and get things done and achieve things in that particular space. You cannot feel fulfilled in anything that you are doing in life with no game. It is impossible. Now, when you first start out at something and you don't have much game, can you keep working at it and develop game? You better be able to, because you're listening to a guy whose whole brand is called Work on Your Game. So that formula better work. I wrote a whole book on it. It's called Work on Your Game. I got it right here. If you're watching this on video, I'm gonna hold the hardcover book up so you can see it. You can get this book at workonyourgamebook.com, or just go to workonyourgame.com and click on the books link. You can get this book, 250 pages. I laid out my whole philosophy. It is called Work on Your Game. So yes, you must have game. If you don't have game, yes, you can do the work to develop it, but you must eventually develop enough game to feel fulfilled at what you're doing. And when I say enough, what does that mean? Because that's a relative term. It means to where you can get things done. All right, you can achieve. Someone can call on you to get something done in that space, and you can do it because you have the ability to actually perform. You are effective at what you do. And again, effective is a relative term. You decide. Are you effective at what you do? I mean, if you're not good, you know you're not good. If you're not effective, you know you're not effective. All right, so don't lie to yourself. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, do I have game in what I do? Because if you don't have any game, all right, you can bullshit yourself if you want, but you're not going to feel fulfilled. All right, and your soul is not going to lie to you. I can lie to you, the internet can lie to you, but you can't lie to yourself. Do you have game? Yes or no? Or are you on your way to having game? Yes or no? Are you excited about developing that game? Are you willing to do the work to get that game? You need to have answers to these questions. If you have no game, are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to show up every day and do the work to get that game? If you don't want to do the work to get the game, you're in the wrong place. You will never reach fulfillment in that space. Doesn't mean you got to quit the job. Hey, maybe you got a job that you're not even trying to be that great at, but you're doing it because it pays the bills right now. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to create fulfillment in your life, you need to be somewhere where you have game and you want to have the game and you're proud of that game. Before I started playing basketball, I've told the story that I write about in my book, Work on Your Game. I was playing baseball. I wasn't really that good at baseball. I was mediocre on my best day. I could have kept doing the work and become competent, but I was never going to become super effective at baseball. I just wasn't that good. I didn't have natural talent for it. And most importantly, I wasn't excited about doing the work. Then because I wasn't excited about doing the work, I didn't do the work as hard as I could have done the work, which means I was limiting how well I was going to improve and how efficiently I would improve or how much I would improve. Therefore, I knew I didn't need to be there. I needed to find something else to do. So I went and tried a different sport called basketball. Now in basketball, when I first started, same situation. I wasn't good there either, but here's what I did. I was excited about doing the work. So I would show up every day to the court by myself, practicing, didn't even know how to practice, what to practice. There was no YouTube videos for me to follow then. Nobody took me under their wing, taught me how to play. But I just kept showing up, and eventually I started to become a little bit better. I started to become a little bit more effective. Eventually I became mediocre. Then I actually became good. And then I became a professional level player because I developed the game, but I was willing to do the work to develop the game. So understand that game does not mean you had to step in it and automatically be the most talented person in the room. You could be the worst person in the room, like I was in basketball, but as long as you keep showing up and doing the work, you can get to that professional level and get the fulfillment that you want. It is very hard. It is nearly impossible to feel fulfilled at something when you are not actually good at it. Does any of you feel fulfilled at something you're not good at? Or at least you don't see a path to becoming good? Do you feel fulfilled doing that job? Usually the answer is no. I haven't had anybody ever tell me that, yes, that they feel fulfilled at something, but they're trash. If you're not good at first at something, again, stick with it as I did, get instruction, and improve. That is possible. Again, you listen to a guy whose whole brain is called Work on Your Game. So of course, yes, you can get better if you're trash at first. We feel good when we know that we are improving, growing, and or we are important. What does important mean? It means having a profound effect on success. That is the definition of the word important. It is not about having followers on the internet. It is not about showing off your flashiness or whatever it is that you think gives you social status. Important is defined as having a profound effect on success. You cannot have a profound effect on success if you have no game. So develop your game. You cannot do this with no skill. I felt fulfilled playing sports because I worked on my sporting skills so I could actually be effective on the court. And now I feel fulfilled doing things like writing books, like this book that I just showed you, or doing things like this show that you're listening to right now, because I know that I actually have game at these things. I know that I'm good at what I do. Skills matter, everybody. Does passion matter? Yes. Does time matter? Effort, energy, opportunity, all these things matter? Yes. Skills matter. Skills are your ability to execute, your ability to create an outcome. If you cannot create an outcome, you will not be fulfilled, and let alone, you might not even get an opportunity to do anything if you have no skill. Now, you ain't got no skill, you're not gonna be on the team, you're not gonna get the job, you're not gonna get on the stage, you're not gonna get hired for the contract if you have no skill. All right? Skills pay the bills, like they say. All right? I feel good when I'm doing something that I'm actually good at, because being good at something fuels our confidence, and you know that what you're doing is actually helping other people because you're good at it. You're probably better than most people. That is a feeling, you get a fulfilling of fulfillment when you know you're doing something that can impact success on other people. Again, remember that definition of important. It has nothing to do with status or pride. It has to do with having a profound effect on success. Nobody can affect success without skill. Point number 2. Today's topic is a formula for fulfillment, 3-step formula for fulfillment. Number 2 thing you need to get that fulfillment that you want from anything that you do is you need discipline. Yes, you heard me correctly, discipline. And guess what? I mean, this is luck. I did not plan this, but I got a book here called The Mirror of Motivation. The subtitle is The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. You can get this book for free by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. I mean, it just so happens. Maybe it's just a strange coincidence that I'm talking about principles that I actually write books about. Discipline, what does this mean? You cannot develop game, nor can you maintain game without the discipline to keep showing up and doing the work. Now, some people, maybe not you who's listening, but some people falsely believe that once they have game, or if they have game, that they don't need to have discipline because the game will carry them through. This is incorrect. Anyone who's really good at what they do, the thing that keeps them good is the discipline to keep showing up and doing the work. If they stop showing up and doing the work, their game will eventually slip, and it will show at some point. You think of someone like Stephen Curry, who's the best three-point shooter that we know to be alive these days, at least as of this recording. Even if you don't watch basketball, you know who Stephen Curry is. I'd be willing to bet money that Stephen Curry puts more time, effort, and energy into practicing three-point shooting, or shooting period, than anybody else on the planet, even though he's already better than everybody. He has more game when it comes to shooting than anybody, yet he has more discipline when it comes to shooting than anybody. Strange coincidence? Not at all. That's how it works. The people who are the best at what they do usually are the ones with the most discipline about doing that thing. That's how they got so damn good, because they're always showing up and doing the work. Not just to become good, but to remain good. And this is the part that many people don't understand. A lot of athletes would ask me about this back when I was doing basketball videos. I remember I had this series that I called Simple Daily Dribbling Drills. And it was just a series of different drills that I would tell basketball players, do these drills every single day, you'll become good at dribbling in basketball. And someone asked me in the comments, actually I said it in the video, I said, do these drills every day for 5 years and you will be a good ball handler. And someone said, damn, Dre, 5 years is a long time. Do I really have to take that long to get good at dribbling? I said, well, it's actually more than 5 years, because if you plan on playing for 10, you're going to be doing these drills for the rest of your career. As soon as you stop doing the drills, your ball handling will slip and you won't be good at it anymore. So as long as you're okay with not being good, i.e. not having game, i.e. not having fulfillment, then yeah, you can stop doing work. You can not be disciplined. But as long as you plan on being good at something, you got to be disciplined at it. Period. You cannot develop game without discipline, and you cannot show your game if you don't have discipline. What do I mean by that? If you're an athlete playing a team sport and you don't show up to practice, or you show up when you feel like it, will you play in the games? Probably not. Will you still be on the team? Probably not. Even though you may need practice less than anybody else on the team, because you have the most game. If you don't show up, you ain't playing. Anyone who has ever played a sport, run a business, or has raised kids who have some sense knows something. Discipline is the foundation that allows all the fun stuff. See, any of you who is looking at a business from the outside in, or you're looking at an entrepreneur from the outside in, and what they do looks fun, it looks exciting, it looks like something that you may want to get involved in. Maybe it does look fun, at least the stuff that you see on the surface, but understand the thing that allows them to have fun is the discipline that is the foundation of all the fun stuff that you know about. Now, you might know about Stephen Curry shooting the threes from half court and shooting shots from out of bounds before the game, and all the fans come to watch him, and he does a little dance when he makes threes and all that stuff. What you don't see is what he's doing in an empty gym with his trainer in the middle of the summer. Nobody knows about it, and he doesn't feel like shooting anymore, but he has 100 more he needs to make based on the discipline of his training regimen. That's the part you don't know about. Or maybe you think you know about it, but it's one thing to talk about it and watch it. It's another thing when you're the one in there doing it. That's the discipline. Do you have that discipline for what you're doing? I understand you might have game. Do you have discipline? Now again, any athletes or coaches or parents who are listening to me right now, how many athletes do you know or have you known or have you seen who had a lot of game and no discipline? What happened to them? I know they ain't around no more, but how many do you know of? How many can you recall? They had game, no discipline. Or maybe they're around right now, they have game, they have no discipline, and you know where they're headed. They're not going to the top. They might not even get to the next level. They should be at the next level because they got enough game, but they don't have the discipline, so they're going to blow it. Any of you know anybody like that? Listen, if any of you has been that person, you had the game, but you didn't have the discipline, so you might have cost yourself some opportunities. Hopefully you figured it out. If you listen to this show, listen to me enough, you'll figure it out. Hopefully you either figured it out past tense or you're figuring it out right now, or you will figure it out before you run out of time and opportunity. I knew a lot of basketball players when I was playing ball who had a lot of game, more game than me, but they had zero discipline. So I ended up surpassing them. But if it had just been a contest of skill, they would have beat me. But it wasn't a contest of skill. It's a contest of all of these combined. Y'all understand what I'm talking about here? When I say fulfillment, you need all of these, not just the parts that you want, but all of the parts. Most people enjoy having game when they already got it. Now, do you enjoy doing the work to develop the game in the first place? Do you have the discipline, the self-discipline, like I talk about in this book, The Mirror of Motivation? I'm holding it up if you're watching on video. mirrorofmotivation.com. You don't have this book. I'm giving it to you for free. All you do is cover the shipping. So many ball players that I met had a whole lot of game. Some of it was natural talent. A lot of it was natural talent because they didn't really have discipline. So I know they weren't just showing up to the park and practicing on their own. They just had natural ability. They could just do stuff. Things just came naturally to them. And because it came naturally to them, that was kind of the gift and the curse. The gift was that they had all this game without even really trying that hard. The curse was they apparently believed that they would just keep having game without having to do any of the work. And as they ascended in levels, they eventually got to a level where everybody had equal game to them, but these other people were willing to do the work. They weren't, and they ended up out. Or maybe they were willing to do the work in that area, but the other areas that would support that, the ancillary disciplines that they needed to make that discipline work, they didn't have the discipline there. For example, if we're talking sports, if you're going to play college sports in the United States, you also have to go to class. I know a lot of athletes who had plenty of game in their sport, but they didn't have game when it came to just showing up to class. I'm not talking about passing the test. I'm talking about just coming to class, period. They didn't have game with that, and they blew it. Or just having the discipline to not do anything stupid off the court that might derail your opportunities for a career. Again, athletes, parents, coaches, how many players do you know who fit that description? Plenty of game, wasted their talent, wasted their game because of a lack of discipline in one area or multiple areas of discipline. What about business? Same thing in business. When you first start off in a business, if you have a good enough idea and a hot enough market, you might not have to do that. You might not need that much discipline to actually make money. Now, you can make a good amount of money in a short period of time with not much discipline, as long as you have the right product at the right time and the right people to sell it to. And maybe if you're popular enough or you got enough of a flow of prospects coming in, you might make a good amount of money really quickly to the point that you may be deluded into thinking that this is going to keep going until it doesn't, until it's not going anymore. Then you reach what we call the third day. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, I really did not plan this, but I got books on all these topics. So this book is called The Third Day. I'm holding this up. You're watching this on camera. The decision that separates the pros from the amateurs. In other words, the third day is about what do you do when you get to the point that you realize that it's not going to be all fun and games forever, and there's some actual work that needs to be done and some actual discipline required to do that work. What do you do then? There are many businesses in the business graveyard, the entrepreneurship graveyard, that answer that question by doing nothing. And they're in the graveyard now. We know what happened to someone when they're in the graveyard, right? Do you have the discipline to figure out, all right, what do I do now that is not going to be so easy anymore? What do I do now that I can't get by on talent and timing and luck? What do I do now that the market is not so hot that I'm going to actually have to do some work to manufacture opportunity for my business? What do I do now? That question and the subsequent answer, if you answer, is what we call the third day. And you can get that book for free too. I don't know what my problem is, y'all. I just like giving stuff away for free. You can get it by going to thirddaybook.com. Again, that's all spelled out, thirddaybook.com. That link is also below in the show notes. Anyone who plays a sport, runs a business, has kids, you know, discipline is the foundation. Any parents who are listening to this, one of the main jobs I would assume as a parent, I'm not a parent, but anyone who's a parent, text me, you can let me know if I got this wrong. One of your main jobs, or just one of them, is to instill enough discipline in your children so that when they get to the point where they're leaving the house and they're out doing things without you. I'm not talking necessarily like they moved out. Your kid might be 10 years old. Now they're going to school, or they're 15, they're in high school, or they're 17, they're going to some weekend getaway at another kid's house. That you're teaching enough discipline to your kids that when they do go out into the world without your supervision, that they are disciplined enough to not do anything stupid. Isn't that one of the jobs of a parent? I would think. I mean, I am not a parent, but I have been a child of a parent, and that's what I think one of my parents' jobs was. Teach your kids enough that when they went out without you, and you couldn't watch over them and stop them from anything they would do, that they had enough discipline from the parents that they didn't do anything dumb. Parents, I got that right? Is that at least one thing that you think about in the process of being a parent? Discipline is the foundation. To be fulfilled is fun, yes, but there is work that goes behind that. That's the discipline. Again, you can make yourself good at anything. I made myself good at doing things like sports and writing and speaking by showing up every single day and doing the work. I mean, I told you how often the show comes out, right? I was willing to be disciplined because I knew that having game would be on the other side of my discipline. The way that I got good at writing, how many people listen to this are on my email list? How many emails do you get from me every week? And then those emails are not no pictures. Those emails are written words. I write every single word you've ever gotten from Dre Baldwin was written by Dre Baldwin. I'm not telling you that to impress you, but to impress upon you. Actually, maybe I'm trying to impress you a little bit, but seriously, to impress upon you that I'm showing up and doing the work every single day. Again, this show comes out every day. I can't fake that this show is coming out. Nobody else records on my behalf. Every day I'm writing. Every day I'm recording. Every day, when I was playing sports, every day I was on the court doing my thing on the court. And I mean, when it comes to fitness today, I don't play a sport professionally anymore, but I still work out every day. Every day I'm hustling. Every day showing up and doing the work. This is the discipline. Being willing to be disciplined because you know that having game is on the other side of that discipline and you cannot be fulfilled without that game. Understand that you can never experience fulfillment in your life by having things handed to you that you did not earn. So no matter where you start off, there has to be some disciplines instilled on some level so that you can know that you've earned the rewards that you got. This is one of the reasons why, if any of you ever heard or read people like, what's the guy's name in Omaha? His name is slipping my mind right now. Or you think about somebody like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett is his name. Warren Buffett, I heard Kevin O'Leary, who's been on Shark Tank. Those are three specific people I've heard talk about this, and there are probably many others who I don't know of or I'm not thinking of in this moment. And people ask them, well, what are you going to do with all your money when you pass away? Are you going to give it? Are you just going to hand it down to your heirs, hand it down to your kids? And many of them have said, no, I'm going to give them something, but I'm not going to give them everything. Like, I might have $40 billion. I'm going to give $40 billion to my kids. And I've heard people who are publicly noted for having so much money say things to the effect of, if I was to give all of that to my kids, it would actually destroy them more than it would help them. Because a lot of people think, all right, you just give a whole bunch of money to somebody that solves all their problems. But many of them have said, on the contrary, if I give all of that money to my kids, they will never learn how to earn anything, and it will actually make them worse because they'll never have to develop the discipline. They'll never feel like they need to develop the game, and it will actually destroy their entire lives. So I want to put them in a position where they have something. They don't have to start from zero, but at the same time, they do have to develop some game, and they do have to develop the discipline in order to do it. Now, any of you who may be in that position that you could do something similar, I mean, you could give a lot to your heirs to where they might not have to work nearly as hard as you did. You might be thinking, I would assume, if you're listening to a show called Working Your Game, let me make an assumption. If I'm wrong, you can text me and let me know that you don't want to put your kids in a position where they don't have to do anything, because then they'll never develop the discipline that you developed. They'll never develop the game that you developed. I mean, how'd you get what you got? You had to do the work. And you may, even though, again, you might not want your kids to struggle as you may have, But at the same time, you want them to know what it feels like to actually do some damn work, because without the work, without the discipline, in case you didn't know, nobody can feel fulfilled. So even if you handed me $1 billion, if I didn't do the work to get it, I'm not going to feel fulfilled no matter how much money I have. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is a 3-step formula for life fulfillment. The third thing you need, excitement. Yes, you heard me correctly. Excitement. You need energy. You need passion. You could interchange all 3 of these words. I'm using them interchangeably for this specific point. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel fulfilled after you spend a whole day doing things that don't excite you? You ever spend a whole day doing some things that you were not excited to do? You were not excited about the result of doing those things. Do you feel fulfilled at the end of that day? I doubt that you do. I think you're looking forward to getting out of there. You're watching the clock, as we would say sometimes at work. You're watching the clock and you know, when the hell can we get out of here? Because you're not excited about what you're doing. You're not excited about the result of doing it. There's no rainbow there's no pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. It's not even a rainbow for you. There's nothing you're getting on the other side of this dark day. You're just doing it just to do it. You're just watching the clock until it's time to get the hell out of here. All right. If you don't have excitement, you will not be fulfilled. Whatever you end up doing, and again, there's nothing wrong with doing something that you're not excited about temporarily, as long as you know when it begins and when it ends, so that maybe those are just some dues that you had to pay so it can set you up to do the thing that you want to do. Nothing wrong with that. But understand, for you to feel fulfilled, you need to be doing something and giving your time, attention, energy, focus, and money into something that you are excited about. And by the way, those 5 things are your 5 forms of investment covered in episode 609. Those are time, money, attention, energy, and focus. Excitement not only draws other people to care about what you care about, because remember that sales is nothing but a transfer of emotion, but also your excitement about something fuels the discipline that allows for the work that leads to the gain. Let me say that again. Your excitement about what you do, meaning your excitement about showing up, that fuels the discipline that will get you to show up and do the work every day. And that discipline leads to the gain. So all 3 of these are connected in reverse order. You need gain, but to have gain, you need discipline. And to have discipline, you need to care about something enough that you're willing to be disciplined. Discipline is usually not easy. All right, so any of you who is thinking about discipline and you understand that you want to be disciplined, and you see me talking about this book, The Mirror of Motivation, the Self-Guide to Self-Discipline, and how I talk about the third day, those situations when your discipline is being called upon, but you don't really want to do it, understand that it's not supposed to be fun. All right, it can be a drag, it can be hard. You will have to push yourself to be disciplined. All right, so if you feel that way, there's nothing wrong with you. All right, it means you're human. But let me explain something to you. That discipline is fueled by your excitement and passion and energy for the result of the discipline. All right, if I'm disciplined and I show up and I actually do this thing, this is you talking to yourself, what do I get? The answer to that question, if you're not excited about that answer, then you're doing the wrong thing. You need to find something else to do. Now, I'm not saying quit your job. Again, you might be doing this right now to set yourself up for the thing that you really want to do. But this is all part of the strategic way that you want to think and plan out what you're doing with your life. Because remember that we're all on the clock here. You don't have forever to figure this out. Excitement fuels discipline, which fuels gain, which leads to gain. When I was trash at basketball, when I first started, actually, let me back up. When I was trash at baseball, was I excited to practice baseball and get better at it? Not really, which is why, luckily, I was insightful enough, I guess I'll give myself credit for it, as a teenager to realize I'm not really excited about doing this work, so how about I go do something else? Because baseball ain't it. But when I started playing basketball and I was trash, I was excited to keep practicing. Even though I was trash, just like I was at baseball, I was excited about practicing basketball because I could see myself actually getting better. I had a vision in my mind that this could actually become something, even though the reality said I was garbage. In baseball, when the reality said I was garbage, I didn't have a vision that I could become anything other than garbage. So I changed to basketball. I had a vision that I could go from garbage to actually good, and damn it, it worked. Because I had the excitement to do the work. And that's how I was able to develop game. All 3 together. Your excitement fuels the work, which fuels the game. Usually, we get excited about things that we're good at. And we're good at things that we're excited about. Usually that's how it works. All right, think about the things you're excited about in your life. Usually it's something you're pretty good at. You're proficient. You're important, meaning you have a profound impact on success. You can do stuff that other people can't do. You're called on by others because you have abilities that they simply don't have. Those are usually the things that we're excited about, right? Because we're actually good at them. Right? Who's not excited about things they're good at? And who's good at things that they're not excited about? Usually those don't go together. Maybe some exceptions, but usually they don't go together. So the question some people ask me is, Dre, how do I know when should I quit versus when should I keep going? Okay, here's the answer to the question. I've kind of answered it a couple times, but let me answer it explicitly. How excited are you to keep working when you're not good yet? When it comes to something like entrepreneurship, I've been an entrepreneur technically for over a decade. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for about going on 6 years now. I still feel pretty new in the game. And what I mean by that is there's a lot that I don't know. There are a lot of people out there who've been in the game longer than me or just been in the game and know things that I don't know that I want to learn from and I want to learn about. And I'm excited about that. Every day when I come to my computer, which is like my business is through phones and internet. And when I come to the computer, I'm excited about learning and developing and trying new stuff out and seeing how this is going to work. All right, let me try this ad campaign. All right, let me see how this is working. Let me see how these are converting. Let me see how this page is working. Or what if I try this? What if I take these assets and put them in this sales funnel? I'm excited about doing those things, even though it might not be working the way that I want it to work yet. And even though there are other people who might be doing it on a level 100 times higher than me, I'm excited about doing the work so I can learn it, so I can develop the game, and then I can turn around, I can give the game to other people. So even though I am far from the best at it, I'm still excited to do the work. I'm excited to learn. And I have some game. I don't have all the game, but I have enough game that I can be important, i.e. have a profound effect on the success of people, maybe like people like you, maybe people who have read my books, maybe people who listen to this show, because I'm willing to do the work. So the question of when should you quit versus when should you keep going, are you still excited to do the work even though you're not where you want to be yet? If the answer is yes, keep going. If the answer is no, stop. To be fulfilled in life, do things that you have energy for. Stuff that you do even when there is no external payoff for doing it. When people say follow your passion, I say follow your energy and your time, because that's where you want to go anyway. You can be passionate about something but not put a lot of time and energy into it. If you put time and energy into something, the passion will follow. And when the passion follows, the discipline will be much easier. You don't have to force feed yourself discipline when you're excited about something. And then you'll develop game because you're willing to do the work. As long as your discipline is coming from a reliable source, i.e. a good coach, like we talked about in yesterday's masterclass. All that said, let's recap today's topic, which is a formula for fulfillment. Fulfillment defined as the achievement of something desired, promised, or predicted. Number one, you need game. It's hard to be fulfilled in life when you're doing something that you're not good at. If you're not good at first, yes, of course you can show up, keep doing the work, stick with it, and get better. But being important means having a profound effect on success. We usually feel good when we are important at something. I felt fulfilled playing sports and now doing things like writing books and doing this show because I have game at these things. I got the game by showing up and doing the work every single day, which leads to point number two, discipline. You cannot develop game without discipline. And you can't show your game if you don't have discipline. You don't have the discipline to make sure all your equipment is in place, then you can't record your show and put it out every day or make your YouTube videos or do your Instagram posts. To be fulfilled is fun, but understand there is work that goes behind that many people are not aware of, or that many people are just not willing to do when they find out that everything is not all fun and games. We call this the third day. If you haven't gotten that book yet, again, go to thirddaybook.com. You will not experience fulfillment in life by having things handed to you. You have to have done the work. You have to have executed the disciplines and developed the game. If you didn't, even though you may have the game, quote unquote, you're not going to feel fulfilled, even though you seemingly have everything to people who are on the outside looking in. Success is a lot sweeter when you know you have actually earned it. And if you haven't actually earned it and you know you haven't earned it, it is impossible for you to feel fulfillment. And point number three, excitement. Do you feel fulfilled after spending a day doing things that don't excite you? Usually not. I don't. Excitement not only draws others to care about what you care about, because sales is a transfer of emotion, but your excitement about something will fuel the discipline, i.e. the hard work, the long days that will allows you to develop game. Usually we get excited about things that we're good at, and we're good at things that we're excited about. So how do you know when you should quit or to keep going? If you're still excited at the end of a long day, a hard day, when things are not working because you want to keep learning and figuring out how this is going to work, keep going. If you don't have that feeling anymore, it might be time for you to find something else to do. To be fulfilled in life, do things you have energy for, things that you do even when there is no external payoff for doing it, or at least the payoff has not happened yet and you have no idea if or when it will. Don't follow your passion, follow your energy, and follow your time. Send me a text. Tell me the best insight you got from today's class. My number is 305-384-6894. Work on your game. Dre, all